is our last video this week, and next week we'll jump into our final portion of this series. I've just been getting amazing emails and DMs from you about feeling seen and heard and supported, and I love it. Like, that lets me know I am on the right track and I have found my people. But as you all are now hopping on and here, I'm Carlisha Bradley. I'm the founder and CEO of Amplify for Women. Amplify for Women is a high performance women's leadership consulting firm that supports women at the intersection of public speaking, personal branding, and transformational leadership. I have been leading this organization since 2020, but I have been an executive leader for over a decade in the public sector and social impact space. I started an organization in 2009, Women Empowering Nations, 15 years ago, that supports young women of the African diaspora on their path to social impact executive leadership, providing mentorship, global awareness, and connections around the world. To date, we've been able to serve over 9,000 young women in 23 countries. I also have a background from going from the classroom to the boardroom. I was a public school teacher who's also worked as an administrator, a charter school superintendent, and I served on the Oklahoma State Board of Education, overseeing K-12 instruction for 700,000 students in the state of Oklahoma. And lastly, I led an education collective impact organization supporting 21 districts in our Tulsa County area. And so on this path of leadership, from working in the social impact sector, from leading nonprofit organizations, from serving in public leadership, but also from being a startup founder of a business, I've seen a lot. I've grown teams. I've worked both here locally and grown teams internationally. And there are a lot of keys and gems that I've dropped along the way as we've been on this journey. I paused yesterday to talk about our mindset to really be able to receive in this space and to prepare ourselves and to give ourselves permission to bet on you and know that you're worth it. But I've been through a lot of this on my own journey. I'm not talking to you guys about what I heard about someone else. I'm talking to you also about my own lived experience. I'm talking to you about the hundreds of clients that I've been able to serve and the ways in which it has unlocked their own leadership on this journey. And it's just amazing to get to sit in this seat and to look back over everything that has been done and knowing that I bumped my head a lot of times. I didn't know what I didn't know. But it's in spaces like this that I can connect with women at various points on your leadership journey to tell you these secrets, these facts, the things that I wish I knew years ago when I was putting in the work and doing exactly what you're doing right now. So again, like, shout out to you for being here in this space, for choosing to invest in yourself and to show up. So today, I mentioned to you guys yesterday that we were talking today about public speaking once again, but today I'm really going to push you. All right. I need for you to throw out your script. You know how sometimes you can go to a speech or a presentation and the person, or to church, and the person is literally reading to you like word for word off the page. Sometimes I wish that they could just give us a handout and I enjoy reading it right along with them, because you're not really connecting with your audience. I want for you to be able to throw out your script. And for some of you, you're like, I could never do that. I would never throw out my script. What are you talking about? Well, for one, I'm a public speaking coach that trains and coaches you on ways to not use a script at all. I believe that you should be bullet pointing your speech. And I'm going to tell you a bit why that is, so that you can show up naturally, so that you can connect and do many of the things that I'm going to talk to you about. But I want for you to go back to what we discussed yesterday about believing that you have what it takes, that you're standing in this space, that your story matters, because that mindset is essential for you to really receive where we're going. A lot of times you don't believe that you could throw out the script because you feel like it is imperative that people have all of the data points. Like, we need to hit these data points and these facts. And so, like, if I threw out my script, I can't remember all of that. Like, I would never be able to articulate this in the way that it needs to be articulated. Another reason why people feel like I can't throw out my script is really perfectionism. You want to say it a certain way. If you don't, it's going to replay in the back of your mind for weeks how you missed that point or you missed that sentence. And y'all, I got to be honest with you. I am a recovering perfectionist myself. There are a lot of times where I'm like watching back videos, even that I've done lives, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to say this. Should I take it down? Should I take down the video and do another one tomorrow because I missed that point? Stop. I'm still working on it myself, all right? But a lot of times when we are in that space, we would never think about throwing out a script. But here's the thing that I want to push you on is an understanding that there's so much value in your story and the ways in which you're going to flip that mindset of I have to have a script. I have to be able to read this word for word is you're going to rest on your executive presence and being able to be a better storyteller. So, in the first week of this series, I talked to you about what executive presence is and what it isn't. And a lot of times when I say executive presence, people often conflate that with respectability politics. And as a Black woman, that would mean me being a member of a marginalized group, assimilating or associating in the ways in which the predominant culture speaks, dresses, acts. Like I am emulating this vision of what executive presence is. And I told you all on my story times on this series, I've been there, I've done that. And spoiler alert, it doesn't work. I would not be where I am right now if I continue to play that game. Executive presence at the base and bottom level of this is character. Number one, it's 4 C's, so it's character. It is what you believe in, what you value. The second layer of executive presence, so imagine we're looking at a pyramid. It's confidence. It's internally what you have. It's a bit of what we talked about yesterday. It's your belief in yourself, your belief in your ability to articulate your lived experience, your values and ideas, and your thought leadership, and which moves us up on this journey. So we're on this pyramid to this third C of communication. For executive presence, communication is your ability to articulate your vision, your ideas, your beliefs. And our highest level of executive presence is connection. It is that ability for you to influence people, to connect with them, for them to walk away from hearing you speak and feeling like, I know you, I want to bet on you, and I want to follow you. So when we think about executive presence, it's the 4 C's of character, of communication, of confidence, and of connection. And the reason why that's so important, and when we're talking about throwing out the script, and when you're showing up on stage with this, a core piece of those 4 C's in communication and in connection is storytelling. People want to know you. I've told you time and time again in this series that people connect with people. They want to know you. They want to know who you are. Even if you all have noticed on this series that I've been doing, every time I'm talking to you, I'm sharing with you a bit of my journey. If I showed up on here and all I spit to you is facts, like, sure, you might be plugged in and you would write them down. But what connects those facts is the lived experience and the story. And I know that my story matters. I know that my story allows for my people out there, the women who have been DMing me, messaging me, commenting on the videos. It allows me to know that you are also seen, that I've been there right where you have been. I am connecting with you where you are. So, why you need to throw out the script and why storytelling is a much better tool. Understanding your core stories that relate to not only the content that you're presenting or what you're speaking on, but also that relate to your audience to be able to pick them up on the journey. The reason why you can throw out your script and storytell instead, or have your bullet points. All right. I know we're going to take baby steps. Have your bullet points and add in your stories is because storytelling is a better tool. It supports you and being able to memorize it. No one can tell your story better than you. Someone reading you a story versus somebody calling you up on the phone and it's about to be a good story when they start with, girl, you will never believe what just happened, right? Like to hear it on the phone and to hear them live switching in between how it was said and what transpired, you feel like you are there. You get perked up when you get that first intro to the call versus reading it in a text. Reading it in a text is similar to when someone is reading you the story versus you hearing it, hearing the emotion, hearing the animation, going back and forth, feeling like you are right there. Storytelling is a great tool because it also is something that builds the connection. It is engaging. It makes the facts that you're sharing so much more digestible and easy to memorize. It's authentic, it inspires, but it also makes it much easier for you to adapt while you're speaking. You can read the room. You can look at your audience. You can tell how people are they feeling this? Are they not? They're loving this part of the story. I should go deeper. I should add a bit more here to tell them more detail. You can move and flow with the room. Versus the other day when we were talking about how a lot of times we feel prepared for speeches because we've got like this immaculate deck of slides and you are going to inform people to death in your presentation, and all of those slides will help you get through and remember. But when you are on slide 5 and your audience is half asleep and you got a deck of 32 slides, what are you going to do? How are you going to pivot? Storytelling gives you the flexibility to be able to adapt to the needs of your audience, to go with them on a journey, and to make your content a lot more digestible. I think that from being a teacher, a lot of times educators, we can be great presenters because students are the toughest audience. All right. Like I honed my public speaking skills in the classroom, in the eighth grade classroom, y'all. They are tough. They are so tough on you. They will tell you what they don't like. Sometimes they'll tell you what they like, but I had to learn how to hook them. I had to learn how to use public speaking techniques that allowed for them to digest the information. I had to make it engaging. I had to relate to where they are, but I also had to allow for my students to get to know me. That's when they became invested in what we were building in our classroom, the culture, and the community. And that's also what I want for you on your journey. I want for you to hold on to the 3 truths that I shared with you yesterday when we were talking. And those are that your expertise, your stories, and your insights, they matter. And there are people who need to glean from your journey. You have to pivot into this space of being ready to step into the spotlight and speak publicly because there's just untapped potential and your expertise that the world does not have access to because you're choosing to stay at the whiteboard and work on your work and write it out and plan it out, but you're not sharing it with other people because you're doubting that it's something that people don't really know. I mean, everybody knows this, or you're feeling that it's not going to be respected or accepted. You're worried about what other people will think, but there is so much potential in what you have to say and share. And lastly, it is holding on to the truth that you have what it takes to be a public speaker. I want to help you transform your mindset from being so like facts driven that you're giving up on this critical piece that is your number one asset, that is the greatest thing that you have to offer, and it's you. It's your stories, it's your lived experience, it's your expertise. It is what you already have in you. I want to support you in bringing that to the forefront. If you are interested in learning more about how we can work together, I encourage you to schedule a consultation call or even DM me, DM the word Elevate if you're interested in learning about our Elevate cohort that is coming up. Applications are closing at the end of this month, and I would love for you to be a part of that journey with us. So I look forward to being back next week. If you have been enjoying this series, I encourage you to actually sign up so that you can get the resources and the recordings. Feel free to share this video with a friend or someone who needs to hear it on their journey. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.